This is a
Good time, Charlie?
production.
On your marks, get set, play.
I love that.
Good favor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Welcome back to the tent. It's Krème. It's a great British Bake Off podcast. It's hosted by me, the Internet's Hero 713, and my homies, Nick Jew, who's not here tonight, and Ant. What's good?
I am here tonight. I'm still working on that Costco apple pie. It's a pretty big pie.
Man, it's a lot of pie. But we're not alone. And if I'm not alone, and it's this particular season of the show, you know what I got to do? I got to play this thing. So I'm going to play this. Anthony, thumbs up if you hear it. Very good.
Bakers make the world go round.
Bakers make the world round. Shows our news segment. But the news this week is what? We have a guest. It's our last guest of this series. And, of course, it's Mr. Ronald R.J. Winter. Ronald does not fit you at all. Tell me how your folks got you that name. We'll get there. Hey, R.J., thank you for joining us, man. I'm very excited to have you.
Thank you for
here.
having me.
Congratulations for making it to the final.
Oh,
Huge deal. You know what I'm saying? So I very much was excited to see you there and so forth. And I'm glad to have you join us. What's going on with you?
Oh, nothing much. Just enjoying life. You know, still cranking away, baking here and there. Actually, baking as soon as we get done here. So
it's the same thing. Mackenzie was like on that last week. She's like, I got to bake some stuff for TV tomorrow after I get done with this. That's hilarious.
She's doing everything. She's down there. I see her socials. I'm like, you go, girl. She's just baking for everybody, every news station. It's awesome. She deserves it.
Oh my gosh! Well, share a bit about you. I have a whole bio that Roku sent me, or not technically Roku. It was their little whatever firm. But still, who cares? Your bio. Tell me about yourself in your own way.
All right, sounds good. So I call myself I'm just a hillbilly kid from the hills of California. I know a lot of people don't know that California's got hillbillies, but we got tons of them. I mean, we're everywhere. And yeah, so I mean, I grew up there, small town, my whole life, Paradise, California, and then went to the local junior college, got a job doing IT tech, then decided I didn't want to do that no more. So went into the Air Force, decided I didn't want to do that no more. So now I'm out as a construction manager, and somewhere along the way, I started picking up baking.
I dig it. I was going to ask you about this as we went along, but I'm going to ask you now. It's one of the things I noticed about your bakes. A lot of your bakes were often this mix of Japanese and Mexican. Did you like kick it with Mexicans a lot when you was little? Me and Nick Jew was talking about this. I wish he was here to back me up. I was like, this brother. She goes, it's California. He definitely was kicking it with Mexicans. He can't even help it.
No, I mean the Hispanic community, Mexicans were all over, love them. Actually, one of my best friends, he performed my wedding and was my best man, Jake Gonzalez. I mean, I always have a joke with him that Mexicans are my favorite kind of people, and just because they love food, they love family. If you ever have the opportunity to go to a Mexican family party, you just go. Like, you don't worry about your schedule, ditch everything else, go have food, have a great time. And then also, I was married before my current wife, and she was from a Hispanic family. So also was around there, grandma on Christmas be making tamales, and it was just a great time. Just a white kid running around that loves to eat.
Dude, it was one super obvious to us. We were like, oh no. Nick came up in the Bay Area, so she's from Oakland, San Francisco area. So, and I see your area just a little bit north of Sacramento there. So I mean, it's like kind of that whole world of Northern California. So she definitely was like, I'm telling you, I'm like, you're right. It it was what was the conchas like the conchas you made that.
Oh,
Like,
I
that
love
I was like,
conchas.
these things are so like you. There's only one way you're doing that, and that's if you got some. You got it in you.
I kept every time I would make a tweak on my concha recipe, I'd have my buddy Ricky, and we got to know each other. I was on a Mexico mission trip a couple years back. We were doing some work at his dad, who still lives down there, church. And so anytime I'd tweak the concha recipe, I'm like, Ricky, you got to try it. You got to let me know because you're one of the few people I can trust about conchas.
Nice. Okay. Just up the way from here, we have this. What's it called? Is this Supermercado? Is that what? No, it's called La. Something else.
I forgot. I got the bag in the freezer.
In my neck of the woods, it's most the Hispanic population here is mostly Puerto Rican, but
okay,
we have a Mexican grocery store over here. That specializes, although I get Peruvian soda from there, so I think they just try to get a little bit of everything they can there. But
yeah,
they are definitely
all the good tasting stuff.
You can definitely get your conscious from over there if you're ever in this neck of the woods. And in fact, who was it? It was Lizzo, right?
Lizzo, yeah.
Lizzo was in town for one of her concert stops, and she got some food from over there. She's like, "That's the best Mexican food ever." I'm like, I doubt it, but it's probably great Mexican food with Cleveland. So
well, she was looking for vegan tacos.
Yeah.
And like it was, I believe she got cactus tacos from there.
Yeah.
Dang. I don't think I've ever had a cactus taco.
I don't know if I am trying to eat cactus, but my mom lives in Kansas, and so there's our Mexican grocery stores, and we went to there because that was her grocery store of choice for whatever reason. And I go in there, and like in any grocery store, you see a bunch of watermelons. Imagine if you were one of those shipping boxes of just cactus leaves. That doesn't seem right.
I don't think they have those.
What part of the cactus is that?
I mean, stems,
petals. I don't know. I mean, Either way, those were they were just available because, like I said, you could probably make tacos or anything else out of them. So, who knows? Maybe one day we'll take the art of eating cactus.
Check it out.
Back around to the realm of baking, which is what I dragged you on here to talk about. How long have you been baking?
For a long time.
Again, I know it's here and there, and you probably answered the question so much, but I like to know, how long have you been baking? What made you say, yes, this is what I'm trying to get down with?
When I was in the Air Force, I got stationed in Misawa, Japan, which is in the northern part of Japan, which is where all my Japanese flavors influence come in at. And I was there for 2 years. Japan has just fantastic patisseries in every town. It doesn't seem to matter the size of the town. There's always at least one. And so roaming around, eating, then, come home after work, want an easy watch, shorter show, stumble upon the Great British Baking Show. And then I'm like, I always love sweets. That's always been, half of my family's German. So we always say it's a German thing. We love sweets. So I came from loving sweets, saw the show. I'm like, I think I can maybe do this. So, not the show. I was thinking baking, but then I just was in the dorms at the time, so I didn't have a kitchen. I get stationed after that in Minot, North Dakota, which great people, nothing to do there. I love those people. They're great people. They live in a state that is flat and cold, and that's all it's got going for it. So I just took up baking. That was tons of time just to bake and really start going at it there.
That Anthony and I bake. I don't know. And you kind of bake, my guy. So, but we do some baking, but it's one of those this is a hobby. I whipped up something the other night that I was kind of impressed. I made this skillet cookie. I know it's nothing, but I was like, I managed it and it came out pretty good. So I can't go as far as to say it's my hobby, but every now and again, I'm just like, I'm about to bake something. Let me see what I can whip up.
There you go.
Yeah.
I feel like in a similar vein, I know this is cheating. It was in your bio, but you said about baking cake from a box with your mom. Look.
So
that's always the gateway. Is tweaking it here and there. What, mom did this. I think when I get a chance, I'm gonna put a little peanut butter on top of my brownies or whatever have you.
Moms are usually the gateway drug to baking, and obviously, hanging out with mom as a kid, she's a great baker. She just says she can't do what I do because she's like, I'm just a simple home baker. I'm not doing all that fancy stuff that like you're trying to do. I'm not trying to spend 3 days to make one cake. But still, like there's still some baked goods that like I know I could get the recipe. I know I can make it myself. But that's like my mom's recipe. Like she's got these sweet potato chocolate chip muffins that I love.
Oh.
Never even began to look at a recipe because that's something my mom does and keeping it special.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, one has to do that every now and again. Like that's you making this. So my mom used to make a chocolate chip pie. I talked to people about it before. But when I left home, she gave me the card. I still have the recipe card like in the drawer here. And it's just probably a Nestle recipe that she did some messing around with, and then now I've done some messing around with. And I just love that particular recipe. So that recipe went from her to me, and it's my recipe now because she said, I don't even bake them no more. And I'm like, well, I bake them just about every Thanksgiving or Christmas around that time of year. And every now and again, somebody will be like, let me get one of them chocolate pies, and I'll make one, mid-year
nice.
or something like that. But it became mine, and I kind of dig that I have that. And I definitely will have to pass it on to one of my boys and see who's going to take the role of one of y'all got to make these pies, bro.
Yeah.
Oh.
That sounds good. I could go for that right now.
So, as one of two who got dapped up by Mr. Paul Hollywood himself, how cool was the Hollywood handshake?
Oh, it was pretty awesome. Real quick, I thought, wasn't there 3? Me, Royun, and Mackenzie?
Did Royun get one too? And I just missed out on it. I'm
got
so
one.
sorry.
Yeah.
There were 3. What? She got it for her, her that pretty ass.
What was it?
The
Everything she made was cute and adorable.
I know, but it was in particular. It was the one it was the episode she got Star Baker on. So she
Oh yeah,
yeah. And I cannot recall what she made, what she crafted. Which kind of the point
was that cookies?
Yeah, it was cookies.
Yeah, it was cookies.
But I'm like, was it her signature or was it?
It was her signature because we were at the bench, but I don't remember what her signature was.
Yes, he was super hype about the flavor and the way that she tempered the chalk and everything, and the bad boys came out clean. So,
we can address some things about some shortcomings of myself. Almost all my stuff looked horrible, and I'm aware of that. It's not like I'm sitting here like most of my stuff did not look how I envisioned. And like Royun was one of those people. All of her stuff always looked amazing, and especially in that cookie challenge. Just everyone that did the molds, because I was just doing the free dip. Everyone that did the molds, like all their stuff looked like it came out of a shop window, and mine looked far more rustic. But back to the Hollywood handshake, I mean, to me, that was a huge deal because like entremets are one of my favorite things to make, and I was pretty much treating the bomb like an entremet because it was like the one time I could make a whole bunch of mousse and different creams and layer it. So to have something that I care so much about, also, I mean, Mexican flavors near and dear to my heart, and to pull out a handshake from that was pretty awesome.
Right, cinnamon, mascarpone, whatever filling. with a spicy kind of Mexican hot chocolate kind of vibe. These cute little bears that you put on. Like I said, it didn't really get the full whatever you want to make it look like. At least the painting made it look like. So I know you probably had a little more you want to do to it. But what you pulled off was so dope. And I was just like, yo, that's pretty great for like not getting it all the way through to what you wanted. And you got a handshake. So it must of course tasted amazing.
That was one of my better looking ones too, for sure.
There's always a baker like you who's like, yo, I can hit flavors out the park. Not once did I hear them coming to you sideways about what your flavor profile. So I was like, that's it.
That was the crutch I leaned on that got me all the way through.
Hey, respect it. Got you to the finals.
Yeah, I don't think it was a crutch. Like we've watched this show for many, many years. And there's always not always. Let me take that back. But there's bakers that grow as the competition go along, and you're definitely one of those bakers that I seen. I was just like,
thank you.
I know, like when you did the decorations with the icing, it was standing up, but then like your growth to your final bakes was very clear, man. So I don't want you to be like,
appreciate it.
Decoration isn't everybody's strong suit, but like I definitely seen the growth in you.
I appreciate that
through the season. No problem, man.
I want us to get See, we ain't quite got the 12 bakers yet. Now, well, whatever. Is it 10 or 10 bakers in the bake off?
It's 12. They
It's a
usually have
dozen,
dozens.
right?
Sometimes they throw in a 13th.
Yeah. See, I want us to get up to a dozen. I'm saying they did 9 last season. They did 8 this season. I'm like, come on, bro, just do the dozen. Do it all. But I know what it is. They shoot an American style, operation. So they basically like got a month to try to knock this whole thing out. Unlike, the British version, which is like, some people, them people probably can actually go home,
They do, yeah. So
yeah.
that's the biggest difference is they get to go home. They're just doing weekends, which, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to that. Like I lived in this little kind of weird baking world for, 4 some odd weeks where that was the only thing I was really worried about. They have, normal lives still going on, but it is kind of nice to, not have to figure out how to not work for, that amount of time.
I dig it. Now, so like, of course, start with Brad, and then everybody else over there. My job was super cool with me leaving for a month.
Oh yeah.
But your job, like, fine, buddy, go bake.
Oh yeah. So that buddy I told you, Jake, I was working for him as a project manager and as electrical contractor, and he's like, yeah, man, just go have your fun, do it, and when you get back, just back to work. So he was super supportive. It was awesome.
Nice. So of course you've been to Japan. How have your world travels been before heading over to England for this particular go around? Were you like a known traveler, or is this a big deal to head to Europe for yourself?
Oh, well, the Air Force putted me around a little bit. Like I got to go to Japan. I've been to Alaska, spattered around the States. Even before I went in, I went on like a giant 14-day motorcycle ride right before I joined the Air Force around, the western side of the country. And I always love traveling. Like I said, been to Mexico about 3 or 4 times, usually on mission trips. I hear vacation side of Mexico, which I haven't seen, is very nice. So I hope to get there one day. But yeah, so it was just a great time. I actually, in the Air Force, I went to England once during the middle of COVID. So I am trapped on this tiny, not real base and they just keep taking stuff away from us. Like at first we could go to work and we had a gym, then they took the gym away. So we could go to work. And then sometimes it's like, okay, you can go to work. Kinda. Don't try not to talk to people. And so it just was, I call it my prison TDY. And I remember staring at the fence, looking out at England and be like, that must be nice out there.
Oh man. So basically, this is the first real European adventure.
Yes,
that's kind of slick. I like that. Brad said when he first met you, he just like y'all kind of ships in the night against the other. You're like, that dude definitely ain't English. It was like, hey man, you bake? He's like, yeah, I bake. So I like the idea that that my fellow Americans and in fact Brad, like pretty much just up the road from us, so a hometowner, got to just hang out and get to experience a little bit of Europe and kick it in England for a wee bit.
Oh, and Brad did it right too, because he went around. I got all his pictures from all the bakeries. I was sitting there jealous, like this man is eating, living it up. Like this is a great time to be alive.
It's both the good and bad part about making to the final is that means you got to focus. And like, I can't kick it in the streets. I got work to do here and a possible plate to win. So, gosh, that is so funny. I don't know, man. I dig the whole notion of like, I'm gonna go hang out in England for a little bit in the tent. You know what I'm saying? I realize there's probably multiple tents to be had, but it's like to hang out with Paul and Prue. And especially if you've been watching, because you had been watching Bake Off, was that like, yes, I get to kick it with these people, like the host, the judge, and
Oh, for sure, man. It was, dream come true. I watched all of the seasons that you could find legally, and then all of the ones that you couldn't. And I watched them over and over again because I'm one of those people that I don't pick new shows that often. So once I find, I just keep rolling through it. So to be there, like face to face with Paul, Prue's right there. I mean, everyone, everyone loves Paul and his, being the critic and the that sort of vibe that he's got going. But Prue's like, you look at her and you're like, you're one of the nicest people I've ever met. You haven't even said a word to me yet.
We always talk about Prue's vibe is kind of, and I don't want this to sound rude to Dame Prue, but it's grandmotherly in the best way possible. She always seems to like, look, this I'm not a fan of this flavor, but everything else about what you made was kind of flying. She always kind of speaks in a way to make you go, okay, thank you. You didn't make me feel like a butt for messing up or something like that.
I think the old school phrase is she can tell you to go to hell and you look forward to the trip.
that does seem like they improves vibe. Go on, I'm sorry.
No, it's funny. I've been watching Roku Live TV, and they have a great British breaking show channel, and not for nothing, but Mary Berry improved. Of course, it was sad when she went off, but it seems like her and Paul were too much on the same page. Like it was just like, oh, that was bad. Yeah, that was bad. But with Prue, it seems like they're a lot more good cop, bad cop. It's a lot to appreciate there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love me some Prue, man. Prue Leith is the truth. So as a fan of the GBBO, do you have a favorite baker? History, like, man, that's my guy. Our I'm not gonna say he's everyone's favorite. We really loved what's my man's name? The German cat, man.
Oh shoot, you're making me go blank.
Jurgen.
Yeah, he's one of
my man. Jurgen. Bruh,
dude, that guy was amazing. That whole season.
The week he got sent home,
that was a really great season.
It is upsetting that he got sent home. There's like, I don't like the way your Tory gate is not very decorated. I'm like, you gotta be tripping. He made a whole Tory gate. I can't believe y'all sent this man home. But
Jurgen was at that whole season, because that was Chiggs, that was Giuseppe, wasn't that all of them? Yeah, man, that was like, I don't know who could have hung in that season. Like even from like past winners, I think they would have had a hard time because it was just an amazing season.
Yeah. Giuseppe is an ill baker. Like every now and again, because I still follow him on IG, he'll put something up and it's like, man, you are still like just the truth. He's like an engineer and a baker. So it's like, bro, come on, man.
He's the complete package. He's got the flavor. He's got everything looks perfect.
Yeah. So I that's our guy.
Giuseppe definitely had the best of both worlds, like having a dad as a baker and then like you be around that your whole life, and then you're an engineer with the precision. Like he was just destined to be.
Oh yeah.
Everyone who we've spoken to says you're like the guy to go to for like the science of baking. Like they know that your stuff about the various things about gelatins and spherification. Like when you made your little mango spheres and stuff. Your little mango. That sounds so dismissive. Your little mango spheres.
Yeah,
they were little mango
spheres.
They weren't
big. Like, they weren't big, so you're not wrong.
But I like that part of your skill set. What got you like? I'm going to learn about all these details. I guess is how I'd kind of word that.
Every hobby I've ever had, I've just been a super nerd, and I've been blessed with a sticky brain. So facts, just kind of, and knowledge, it just sticks there, and so that's helpful. But like, I mean, even working out, video games, any sort of hobby I've ever had, like I dive all the way into the deep end and just start reading obscure facts, and for whatever reason that just stays in my head. So you would think I could then do better at technicals, but that didn't turn out to be the case. But I could tell people things so that way they could do better at technicals.
I truly thought this round of technicals were some of the most challenging things I've ever seen. Not too many of them. I'm not arguing the point. Some of them were just a little too European, a little too English for, I think, our baking tech. I'm like, we don't eat Battenbergs over here. We just don't. It's not even something that we have on our menus over here. And so I'm like, to be like, you're making me a Battenberg. Like, what? Well, I get it. It's a sponge. It's apricot jam. You got to make marzipan, but then you got to make marzipan.
Well, and so just so that way, like I don't get sued or anything. Everyone at that show was freaking awesome, and I mean that genuinely. Like everyone you dealt with was a great person, who's who you wanted to have to deal with. But sometimes in the technicals, like I wonder, like, are they giving us weird recipes to like really challenge us, to push it a bit? Because I make marzipan all the time. I know you couldn't tell that from what I did, but I make it all the time, and I have never made it with granulated sugar, which real quick, what that does is, so I always use just all powdered sugar, because with marzipan, you want it to come to a paste and be nice and cohesive without the oils from the almond releasing. But with granulated sugar, you got to break it up. and get it nice and fine first. So probably the trick would have been running just the granulated sugar in there, like kind of salt before you put anything else, because you're trying to thread this narrow line between the granulated sugars processed and the almonds haven't started releasing their oil. So that was kind of like, it was just a different marzipan recipe that kind of just threw you that next level of challenge. And I made what I believe Paul says looks like old feet, and he was
colorblind.
Colorblind, yes.
What,
I mean,
what were you going to to that point? You're like, look,
I know.
I guess you could hit it and be like, look, it's going to be real pink or not pink at all. So we're going to go with this.
I thought they were going for a very subtle pink, and I was too subtle. And I remember I was just like rushing towards the end, like time's ticking, and I'm just grabbing a chunk of cake and a chunk of marzipan. I'm like, here you go, and putting it on a plate.
I like marzipan. It's
delicious.
There's this Ritter Sport bar that I like that is marzipan covered in dark chocolate. I think it's fantastic. It's my jam. So I'm a fan. I think I would probably enjoy Battenberg if I could find one. I bet you there's somebody around who probably makes a Battenberg. I just,
Well, someone who's got the full recipe in a kitchen, not a tent, and no time limit, they could probably make you a pretty decent one.
In the heat, bees and hornets buzzing. Yeah. Like, it's a lot going on there. They asked me. That one was a weird one. Pretzels were.
Oh man,
I get it. The notion of pretzels is kind of like, it's definitely a baking situation. You got to do a little cooking, but you got to do some baking. So I get it. It kind of works as an idea, but also it's like, bruh, I'm not whipping up pretzels on the rag. No one is. We go buy pretzels from our local German vendor. Then all of a sudden it's like your Germanic roots are sitting there, kind of filling your chest. Like, damn it, I could have
failed everyone in my lineage.
I could have did the ancestors' pride.
Well, and that one too, like we all had the similar problem. Like we're making the dough and we're trying to roll it out to its size, and no, it wasn't going. Like I was just still like roll it, and I found like a kind of a trick that if I wet my hands a little bit and then roll it, it wouldn't like tear. But to get it out to the size, it was just not working. And then I did the pretzel turn, and then I'm sitting there like, well, I think this is going to undo itself. So I put them upside down, which that's not how you make pretzels. And then I baked them that way, and so they looked nothing like a pretzel whatsoever.
That's a weird. They thought they were like, oh, these should have been improved longer because then you got to roll them away so you don't knock the air out of them. I'm like, you're asking a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, that was a wild request on that.
And I've heard some conflicting reports from some trained people in the art of pretzel about that advice from Paul. Yeah. So I mean, I've said pretzels have hurt me deeply, and I'll probably never go back to them again.
Look, I appreciate me some Paul Hollywood, but that man can't even make tacos right. So I'm saying, maybe his international flair is not as good as he is. I appreciate him, and pretzels should be left to the Germans and not to the English. So
yes.
All right, I'm jumping around my questions here. So I was going to say if you have any hobbies outside of baking, but then I noticed a picture somewhere in your IG of Nintendo HQ, which is in Kyoto.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
You play video games?
Oh, I mean, I have for years. Like right now, I'm in a season of life where nothing too busy. What I do is when I have a spare 20 minutes, I hop on my Switch, pull up Pokemon Violet, do a couple Terra raids or something, and call it good. But I was a long time World of Warcraft player for years, and Diablo, and a bunch of the Final Fantasy games. Like so, yeah, I've been a gaming nerd since I was about 7.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, like maybe 3 minutes before I got on here, I got this thing. It's called an analog pocket. You can play like all these handheld games on it. And I figured out finally today how to get this version of Super Mario Land, which is one of the first games I ever played on Game Boy. Somebody made a color version of it. Oh, the greatest thing ever in my life. And I figured out how to get it on this analog. And then I got my analog, the dock to work on the TV. It was a whole lot going on there. And I was just over there playing Super Mario Land, one of my favorite games ever.
Transported back in time.
Really. I just beat it recently on Switch because it's on Switch maybe 2 weeks ago. And there I am back at it. I'm like, it's just because now it's in color. So now I get to play it again. So I'm with you. I'm with you in the realm of video games. Aunt plays video games. All our kids play videos. Sure, we do. You got sticks like right there, eh? Like you can reach for the plate.
Oh, nice.
So,
He's playing right now. Like when we're being boring, he's
I'm
just
not
over there.
right now.
we do another show. My buddy Dan does it with us, and sometimes he will be like, "I was over here playing Call of Duty, y'all. I'm sorry." He's like, "It's okay, boss. We understand." But any other hobbies besides these things, besides baking and every now and again picking up a little Pokemon action?
Oh yeah, so working out. I love lifting. It's fun for me. I think I might be like a really mean person if I didn't work out because I've been like working out since I was 17. So I don't even know what I would be like without that. And then riding motorcycles, hiking. My wife enjoys both of those, so it's great. We can just hop on the bike, go do that, go hike. She likes mountain biking, and I got one so that way I can chug along right next to her. She's way faster than me, and I'm slow and not exactly in shape. So just mainly a lot of outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah.
Disc golf, done that for a bit. Not too like hardcore about it, but
That's a solid confident stuff. You like getting outdoors, and you're in an environment where I don't know what part of California we are in at this point, but Cali's pretty nice most of the time, so you can get out and be outside.
Oh yeah. I'm in the Northern Valley. That's like 112 right now, but other than that, it's usually pretty nice.
Very notion. Good Lord, I went to Vegas forever ago, and it was like 100 some odd degrees, and it's like, and I know the notion of a dry heat sounds like a lie, but it really does matter. I got to tell you,
oh, it does.
If I had 112 with the humidity we currently have around here, we'd all be out here lying.
Everybody would die.
So I can't. I got you. I'm with you on that one. Let's see. Oh, your audition process. I like it. We've been having fun with everybody telling us how their audition process worked. Oh, how'd you get on this dang show?
So was having dinner with some friends and mentioned that, oh yeah, there's a new season of the Great American Baking Show comes out. Going to see, because the other seasons had never been quite what the public wanted, which was just the British one again. And saw the season. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'd love to be on that. And she sent my wife the application. So I did the questionnaire, did all that. Then it went from there to I got a text as I was at the gym. And it's like, hi, this is so-and-so from the Great American Baking Show. I'm like, whatever, scammer. I respond back like, oh, cool. And like, can I call and talk with you? I'm like, well, this is a pretty good scam if they're willing to talk with me. So, we get the phone interview. From there, it was a Zoom interview. Then going to San Francisco, which is about 2.5 hours from here, depending on traffic, with my bakes, which I brought a layered chocolate cake with red berry compote, so raspberries and strawberries, whipped vanilla ganache on the outside, one of my favorite flavor combos. I call it, actually everyone calls it POG, but passion fruit, orange, guava. It's a popular juice over here. I'm not sure, it's probably other places too.
We used to have POG. It's some POG in my attic right now.
Yeah. Different thing, fun, not as delicious.
Okay.
And so it's passion fruit, orange, guava. So I do a POG tart. Go there. Culinary people like it apparently enough to invite me down to Pasadena, where I was actually in the same group with Chris and Victoria, which was crazy. Okay. Actually, at the end, Chris was like, see y'all in England. I'm like, I'll never see that guy again. That's a nice fellow over there. And then, get the keep getting texts and emails, and all of a sudden it's like, you're on. I'm like, why? Did you all know you sent this to me?
You were the kind of guy. You're kind of guy. I'm like, yeah, that dude. Like, you're damn near G.I. Joe, buddy. I fuck with that. I forget my language, but I dig it a lot. It's like, that's a guy. Yeah, I want that kind of guy in the tent, especially if you're going to represent for the American Baking Show. So I dug it. So,
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so did I. So there you go, man. Like I said, it was very, very cool to me.
I feel like... Oh.
No, go ahead.
Now, I feel like you were one of the few people that were unbothered by Casey and Zach. Like I know that would be one of my bugaboos. Like when I'm baking, like I usually have on my headphones. I'm in the groove. But you seem a little unbothered, like you were rolling with the punches. So it seemed like this seasons were one of the seasons where they stepped in less, but it seemed like you were one of the people that they were able to talk to without bothering much.
Well, one, I try to let logic dictate that situation. Like that's their job. Like, obviously there is times I was annoyed, and there was so much that got filmed that didn't make it. Like it'd be really fun for an extended cut, to like see all the times. Like Zach and Casey would do like these bits that some of them were funny, some of them not so much. And so I always try to be like, they're here to do their job, and I just got to be trying to be nice, be personable, so that way I can get back to my one. There was that one time I did tell them like whoever stops talking to me first will be my favorite. But I mean, I felt like that was an honest answer to the question.
I don't know. It was a good groove. So this is something I picked up on. Okay, so I have to write the notes for this every week, and it's something I picked up on every week until this last one. You were like the third person they would talk to or talk about in production. I was like, why is it like the way it was edited? I don't know if you actually were the third person, but I was like, why is RJ? They got my man RJ Square in the middle every time at the beginning, either for the signature every week. I was like, what is going on in this signature? They got my man like always. He's the third one in line. They're gonna talk about, and it's just like it was hilarious. And it was every episode up until this last one. I was like, what a weird edit. What an interesting edit that it turned out to be that way for the whole. And I noticed it because, like I said, I'm writing these notes, and I'm like, I don't have to move RJ this week. I don't have to move RJ this week. I don't have to move because I got a template I'm just using. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? I'm like, what a funky. It's just something I noticed. I was like, what is going on with that weird edit? So,
and I can't even remember like what the order was truly. Like I think that was about right. So I don't think it was edited all that differently. But yeah, it was just they come over, and there's Paul and Prue that didn't make it, things that they said. Sometimes, I mean, it was edited. They left out some critiques, and I was like, ooh, this is making me sound nicer. And so, it's just with editing, that's way outside my wheelhouse. They're the pros trying to make the best TV show that they can. But, I felt like they wanted to, let people try and express themselves. I hope going forward, they'll allow the bakers' personalities to show up more. Like, because one thing, like Chris is this wacky, lovable dude. And I think you got some of that, but you didn't get the full dose. And like Brad's one of the most lovable human beings you'd ever see. Jen's funny. Nicole's wacky. Mackenzie's awesome. Royoon's super cute and bubbly and nice, and everything she makes is adorable. So I hope at some point, like the B-roll and the interviews really help highlight the bakers and who they are, because I think that could have been dialed up, and that would make people really like care about who it is that they're watching.
So for the English version, they have a show that they get in England that we don't get, but I get. Don't ask. called An Extra Slice. So basically, they get it's like a Talking Dead for the episode of Bake Off that they had before, and they hang out and they do clips like that and so forth, and they talk to the baker that left that week. And I wish we had something like that. One, I really think the Roku version of the American Baking Show is so much better than the version they had on ABC, and I think they did on CBS, because of course you get what makes the British version so good. Again, we need about 4 more bakers, but other than that, I very much think they're doing it. So I wouldn't mind if we got an Extra Slice style show. Just call it Extra Slice. They have a format that works already, although it is different host of it. Like they have a different set of hosts for that show than they do for the main show, which is kind of but listeners, if you get a chance or you need a link, just message me. I'll send it to you. That way, when after you watch Bake Off that week, check out the Extra Slice. It's a delight. I'm telling you, every week. That's the best part about that part of Bake Off, because you get that BCS of everything that I'm getting from you right now. But the rest of people don't always get that. So, because I like to know what happened. They definitely would have showed us one of y'all getting who got stung.
Chris,
Chris, and I think Chris and Mackenzie both.
I think a couple people got stung. I mean, it was a problem, like in there, all those bugs. They were attacking people, and I remember sitting there at the judging of my after the judging of my Corvi, and they cut it open, and I had those big holes from the moisture causing that expansion, and I'm just sitting there watching like flies just kind of like walk into the loaf and never come out, and they're just like marching. No. I'm like, all right, I got to remember to sample the bottom one.
Oh wow.
So that is something we also have learned, that oftentimes your food will sit for a bit before it's judged. And I wonder if some situations where if they would have had it fresher, would it have been maybe looked at a little differently? Or do you think it doesn't sit that long or whatever? What do you think?
I think it depends. Like I had a couple creams melt on me early on that weren't as melty when I put them on there. So, there's that aspect of it. Also, I think that time might have just helped my bomb get like all the way perfectly set. So I think it's one of those things. It is what it is. And they tell you, like all over your recipe card, like as you're creating it, could possibly sit for so-and-so time. So that way, like you're aware of it, you're planning about it, you're thinking about it. So I think there's times when, it could be an improvement, but there's also times I think when, it can mess you up. That extra time will let things set and get you a better end product.
That's right. Are you a convection oven kind of guy at home? In your home bake, is your oven nice enough? You got the fan in it popping off? I don't have a convection of it. Anthony does. So
once I got back, we had an old oven, and I talked my wife into replacing it, and I got a convection one, and I do love it for the most part. I just get more access. Like I can use more levels without having to worry about the heat being way off. Okay. For the most part, I think that's the biggest advantage of it. It is just a more stable heat. So since then, now I'm all convection, but I think especially if you have the time, just a conventional oven can still produce amazing results.
I don't know. My thing was like, I couldn't imagine coming over, like having had a regular oven, and then like, I'm gonna give you something you've never baked on before. Try your hand at this. The numbers are gonna look weird. It's gonna have some funky buttons that you got to push play pause on, and it's got a fan in it. Come on.
that play pause got me on the apple pie technical, because who wants to ever pause an oven? Like no one's been able to explain to me the human being that wants that function. And I was sitting there trying to adjust the temp, and I left it on pause, and that was like 10-15 minutes of my pie not baking. And man, then I just jacked it up, and that's why I think they even showed me like I took it out the last possible second, because I was just trying to get it edible.
Pie out of the 10. Really?
especially when you don't give us the right kind of tin to do that, or give us the time for the thing to cool down. Like, and I love making tarts and things that are super pretty that you take out of the tin that are like work of art. Most people don't take a pie. And if this is American pie, well, then that pie is staying in the pie plate like 99 out of 100 times.
It still makes me laugh. The very notion, I'm like, really? I don't think.
And then Zach diming us out at the end, like, oh, I've seen it. I'm like, where you have? Come on, show me where.
Everyone has said the same thing. Like, bruh, I need to know. Give me the restaurant, and I want to see it, bruh. No, sir. We leave our pies in tins for a reason. We have lovely pie plates our grandmothers have given us. It's okay, people. Leave them in your tin. Don't worry about it. But if you manage to pull it out, I learned, like, I truly was like, I don't make my apple pie like that. And I think going forward, I'm going to. The baking the apples down kind of a little bit first, and getting the juice, and then boiling that down so you get more of a syrup kind of situation. I like that. I like that notion. I don't. My son for his birthday always asks for me to make him an apple pie. I'll make a decent apple pie. I'm not a great apple pie, but I kind of want to try my hand at that because I like everything about that method. I was like, I don't think I've been making apple pies right this whole time.
Well, and the doing it in the oven's kind of because a lot of American apple pie recipes, you do cook the apples first just on the stove top, and that kind of softens them and releases some moisture. I'm also a huge fan of using spice maceration. So you just throw the apples in a whole bag of spice. It pulls the moisture out, and then you dump that in the pie, and you're ready to go. They both make fantastic pies. It's just kind of like which way you want to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that technique where you pretty much simmer down the juices and make it caramel, and then put that's pretty interesting. Like I've always when I'm making the apple pie, like cook down the apples, but doing that extra little step just seems so much cooler.
Oh yeah, and it adds a great flavor. I was thinking of like other applications of that because that's just how my brain works. Once I learn one thing, I'm like, how can I apply this to 30 other things? And I want to try making essentially an apple ganache where I boil that down, kind of make a caramel out of it, and then put that over some white chocolate so that way it doesn't really affect the flavor, just kind of enhances the sweetness, and just kind of see how it plays.
That's what I love about this. Is what I love about baking. I love talking to bakers about, because yes, it's science. It really is science. People don't ever get. Let me tell you something. Baking ain't a lot of freestyling going on. But if you set yourself up early enough in the process to kind of get ready to do some things, you can really make something magical. And that sounds kind of amazing, bro. So kind of dig it. So you pull that off. You let me know. Yeah,
Will do.
I'd like to know how it all worked out. So yes, please. Oh my gosh. That quite literally is the stretch of my questions. But Nick added this little thing of last week, and I thought it was probably a good question. And she said, "What's next? What do you want to do next with this experience and within the realm of baking? You think?"
Oh, well, so back in the tent, I told all the guys my game plan was to do this and then just to disappear in obscurity because, I like my life. Like I wasn't looking to, go after this full time. I've pretty much stuck with that, except for like I'm also going to just do stuff for fun. So like I'm working on a YouTube channel where I just go over some recipes just for fun. Like it's not going to be super hardcore. My first video is done. I mean, this is how hardcore I'm being. I'm recording it by myself, so that shows you the level of cam work I have available. And then I'm having my nephew edit it, and he knows how to do it, but that's not his job. So it's just gonna be for fun and like posting on Instagram. Like it was kind of the other day. One of my main things, which I have to throw on here, that I've surpassed now is once the Instagram followers start flooding in by the dozens. My goal was just to have more than my wife, and I have surpassed her now. So I feel like my level of fame has been reached for me.
I followed you today on my personal. Like I said, we have a whole nother show. It's called Stage Crunchy and Milk. It used to be this show would go on the Stage Crunchy and Milk feed. Which is why we spell crunch. We spell crunch with a K. We spell cream with a K. It's a thing. So I've never made an Instagram for Crème Patissier. We only have the Stage Crunchy Milk one. So like when I post the show, it'll go up on there. So I followed you guys on that one, but I didn't follow you on my personal one. But today I followed you on my personal one.
I saw it come in. I was like, and my Instagram's like just free. It's just public. So I like that's why it's just whoever wants to follow me, as long as you're not gonna go crazy in comments and start being a horrible person. Like you're welcome. And so I saw you come in, and then you popped up on my screen here. I'm like, hey, it's that guy who followed
me. So I literally was like, I told you I saw the picture because it was the main image is a Tory Gate, but a few swipes in, I see Nintendo, which is of course I'm super into Nintendo, as you can tell. And I was like, I'm like, I can't. That picture from 2019, I can't like that picture. That's a weird thing. So I'm not gonna like this picture from 2019.
That always does make you feel weird. Someone follows you and it's like 10 years ago. They're like, all right, that's not creepy at all. Thanks, man.
I was just like, I'm scrolling through looking at the various bakes, and like I said, I noticed, like I said, the image of a Tory Gate, and I'm like I said, I love I want to go to Japan so bad, and one day
do it.
I will get together and get over there. But hey, until then, that's why I was like, that's a cool picture. See what's going on here, and I was like, oh, sick. And like I said, it's Nintendo, and that's just me. So, what is your Instagram if you care to want to share that with the listeners? Or any other part of your social media you think you want to share with the listeners?
Oh yeah. So Instagram's kind of where the place to get at me until I actually come up with a name for my YouTube channel, which is currently my largest hurdle. And it's just at RJ_Winter, and should just be me on it. And yeah, just all I really use it for is posting bakes. I'll probably post some motorcycle ride stuff from time to time, just like pictures of pretty places, things like that. So if you like seeing baked goods, give me a follow. Be fun.
What you got better than that there, people? The amazing Ronald R.J. Winter. Hold on. Just before Ronald.
Okay.
Family name?
Yeah, it was my dad's name. Different middle name, and so that was like growing up. I kind of had like two periods in my life. Growing up, I was pretty much called Ronald John, which no hate on people who go by two first names, but I was already a hillbilly kid. That was just a little too on the nose to have two first names. So as I got up to like 13, I was like, let's go with RJ. And that just stuck since then.
Bro, I had a whole nother name in high school that I do not go by, and now people who know me from high school, I don't hang with a lot of people from high school, but I have a few friends from high school that are still my people, and they call me by that name, and I'm just like, that is not who I was. I should have did that in high school, and I definitely don't do it as an adult. How dare you call me that? But it's all they knew me as, and so it just sticks. And so I'm like, oof, no, thank you.
Yeah, I think everybody has that story though.
Hey, you have to make decisions as you grow up. RJ, thank you so much for kicking it with us, man. A pleasure to have you. So great to talk to you. We've told this to everybody, and I'm gonna tell you to you too. Bake Off comes back here in the latest summer and fall. I'm probably gonna reach out to you and ask you to come hang out with us and dissect an episode and just hang out and talk some crap about the Bake Off because I love it. So
it's one of my favorite shows. So yeah,
same. We make a whole show about it. Thanks for joining us, man. We'll talk to you here.
Right, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
I don't know. I think Victoria and Brad are still my favorite. I think. I mean, not that she was just because she was a lady, but I think Victoria was my favorite one. Her story was super interesting. Brad, I don't know. Her and Brad go neck and neck.
Guess what? Everybody I've spoken to from this program, I have enjoyed their presence on our show because they've all been cool, giving us some stuff that we didn't know about, and I think that's pretty swell. So it's not like a favorite. I like you all. You're all great, and thank you all so much for coming and kicking it with us this season. So let's do a little, post-season breakdown here, man. What did you think of season 2 on the Roku channel, at least, of the Great American Baking Show? What did you like? What didn't you like?
What didn't I like? I feel like there was no didn't like her. I mean, it's a show I love, so at the end of the day, it's a show I love. But especially like with us having guests on, it opened my eyes to what the show is a little bit behind the scenes, which made me appreciate it more. It filled in some of the dry spots in the cake, and knowing some of the behind the scenes, like how many people are on the set, how many how long things take to happen. Like, it really opened my eyes to make me enjoy the show a little bit more in a different way.
Okay. So remember I told you I don't like the font. It's not the font, it's the coloration. They use this green and purple kind of vibe situation on like when they put when it says Great American Baking Show or when it says 12 identical bakes at the bottom of the screen. And I hate that coloration. It for some reason doesn't fit baking to me. It's like Miami colors, and it's just like I don't like it still.
LeBron's evil years.
I still very much enjoy that this is much more akin to the Great British Bake Off than the earlier versions of the Great American Bake Show, which I just was telling RJ about. It works better to go be in the tent in England and have Paul and Prue present because it's like they are who bring the show together. I like them. We have our own American host, because I don't think Allison and Noel would work for talking to a bunch of Americans. It'd be hilarious in some way, shape, or form, but I don't think it would work as for this particular show. So I very much like that part of it.
I think it gives it having American hosts gives it a further reach because like um it'd give you some sort of home feel
Yeah.
because like you need some kind of a wider reach when you're aiming for Americans.
Yeah, and if they were to have English judges and English hosts, it just wouldn't feel. It probably wouldn't feel like this is an American production. You know what I'm saying? So it helps in that regard. I still think we should have the full dozen bakers, but again, I know why they do it that way. They cannot. It has to be done in basically about a month's time. People, that's what it is to be an American. We don't get that much time off from work. 4 weeks is pretty much most people's stretch. You know what I'm saying? They've used all their PTO. That's holidays, that's vacation time, and probably some sick time thrown in there for most people in this country. Because
Yeah.
most companies don't get down like that and say, yeah, you can have an entire month off. So I get that that's probably why we can't get up to the English standard of a dozen bakers. But I truly wish we could because I think that'd be great. And I don't know, I appreciate having that many more episodes to get down with. I don't think they should do all the episodes at once to drop. I don't like that for any show anymore. It's just, I don't know. I like week to week. It means you get a pop every week. You know what I'm saying? People coming back around to say, like X-Men 97 is a good example, a week to week situation. That means every week that was water cooler talk. You know what I'm saying? Or, whatever the version of water cooler talk that exists now is. And it gives you a fresh pop every week. And I think that's a good way to go about a show like this. I get it. You know what I'm saying? The Netflix model works, but even the Netflix model for Bake Off is once a week.
Week to week, yeah.
So
Yeah,
why not?
With some shows you definitely want to because like I don't know how many shows, especially shows that are like a half an hour that man you pretty much done in a couple hours during the day. You're like, man, I gotta wait a whole nother year to a year and a half for this.
Yeah.
So it does help.
Yeah. Give it its time. It's like 6 episodes. It would have had it 6 weeks and like 6 weeks of people looking at you, Roku, and saying, "Oh, Roku has some options." I don't know. I like it. I don't like that they do it all at once, but I do appreciate the show. Got to give it a shout out to the people at Roku and the people at I want to both. I don't want to name the company because I don't want to give people's information out. But the guy at the firm, the public relations firm that helped us first secure Brad, although in reality Brad secured himself, but behind the scenes stuff because he got me, pictures and bios and all that kind of stuff, and was always willing to help during the early part of the process. And so I think that was pretty great. I hit up Love Productions that's who makes the show about getting basically getting kind of similar access to Bake Off when it comes back in the fall. They said, talk to this dude at Netflix, but we don't really be letting the bakers do interviews while the series is running. And I'm like, okay, well that's cool, I get that. But I do got somebody I need to reach out to at Netflix about getting basically, press level access. So I make basically same thing. Hopefully I can get the pictures and the bios and stuff of the bakers beforehand. So, and we'll see if we can work that out. Because now we kind of have to, don't we? We need that. We needs that, baby. So I need to reach out to that guy. I need to remember to do that sooner than later. This was a real good series. And I don't know how many people watched it, but I hope a lot of people watch it. And if you have not watched it, I hope you consider going to check it out. I know you're thinking, I don't have a Roku device, but you don't need one. Roku channel is available on the internet. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. You just have to watch some commercials. And sneaky snake, if you got an ad blocker, you don't even got to do that if you watch on the computer. Because guess what? They don't pop up with a proper ad blocker. And so you can just watch and enjoy a really good series of and some really cool bakers doing the dang thing. I wish we could have gotten everybody on to talk to it, to chat up a little bit, but just wasn't meant to be. But huge shout out to my man Brad. We were just chatting like earlier this week, and so that's what's up. And huge shout out to Victoria, to RJ, and of course our winner of this go round, Miss McKenzie. Because like I said, all of them are great, And I had such fun. Oh, and my man Chris, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, I didn't want to leave you hanging. You as well, sir. Thanks for kicking it with us. Because you guys were all, like I said, it was great to watch you, but it's also even nicer to be able to sit and chat with you about your lives and your the realm of baking and how you got down with it. So thank you for that. Bake Off, usually mid-September-ish, going into October, I think, when we come back around. So that should be happening sooner than later. If you think, hey man, I saw this, I want y'all to check it out, holler at us. Maybe we will. And the very reason we started reviewing the Great American Baking Show was because the listener hit us up, was like, hey, y'all gonna do the Great American Baking Show? And we was like, I guess so. we did have a discussion amongst the family here, but yeah, like I was saying, it came around. I was like, all right, let's get down with some Bake Off. So, like I said, that's real. Comments and safety. This is something new here. To keep community safe, you need to review and approve. I know this. This is what it's been like forever. Spotify for podcasters. It's interesting that maybe they think they changed something.
They just want to reiterate it.
Comments. Oh, maybe that's what that little purple dot was for. Like, man, we doing something different now. All right. So I don't think I see any comments that need to be addressed here. And you're right. That's exactly what it was. They just wanted to tell you that there was something new popping in the comments. But don't worry, I still got some feedback from the other one. Let's get over to the email. I was checking the podcast page because that's where some of our feedback comes from. But in this case, I know we got an email already because I checked the email. I was checking the email religiously all week to hear from all these bakers and to hear from Love Productions about the GBO in the future. But it's the homie Frank in the building.
Yeah, finally.
Hey, y'all. Just want to say what a great run of episodes covering the American Baking Show. Obviously, the interviews elevate everything. I really appreciate that each person is adding something, not just a rehash of what a prior contestant said. I have to say, with your survey question, I might want to go without being a star baker, since David won the whole thing years back without being star baker. But a handshake is damn cool. Agreed. Anyway, thank you for the shout out. You know, big baby, we love you. Also, I wonder if you could manage interviews with past British contestants that you like Jurgen or Kim Joy. Someone like Nadia would probably be too hard, but you never know. Hope you get a closing episode next week. And here you are getting a closing episode with one more interview to take on the road with you there, Frank. Thanks, Frank. Your support is always amazing. Like I said, when you don't write to us, it becomes like, oh my gosh, I hope Frank's okay.
Yes.
So thank you so much for reaching out to us and being a listener of what we do. Again, I think it was Frank is the listener we were talking about when I was like, one of our listeners was like, y'all gonna do the Great American Baking Show? And indeed, we did based on that. So I tell you right now, okay, it's what a little feedback can get you.
Yeah, get yourself a big pat on the back, because we wouldn't have did it without you saying anything. And then we wouldn't be in a position we are now with having the contestants on if we didn't do the show. So thank you very much. Thank you very, very much.
Big up, Frank. Frank, you have literally made this a better show. And I'm grateful to you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
But again, that's it for a little bit here. This episode will go up as normal, and there you go. And then we're done till late summer, going into the fall for some Bake Off action. But you know what it is, bro. It come around fast. You're gonna look up. It's gonna be here, and that's what's up. And for Nick Jew, I don't know why I cracked up right there. For Nick Jew, the host of What's the Tea. Make sure you go check that out when new episodes pop. For Ant.
Yes.
The host of Stage Crunchy Milk. One of the hosts of Stage Crunchy Milk. I don't want to take away from Box. And for me, the Internet's Tay-Rail 713. Thank you guys so very much for continuing to bake with us. We'll do it again next time. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.